And last, you've seen him, and you gotta believe it, right? I told you all along.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the plot points from television that fans anticipated years before they paid off. We won't be including any animated TV shows, as those have a separate list. Also, spoilers ahead, naturally. Number 30. Jimmy changes his name to Saul. Better Call Saul. Fans of Breaking Bad went into this prequel expecting Saul Goodman to be, well, Saul Goodman. However, before he became a criminal lawyer to Albuquerque's underworld, he went by his birth name, Jimmy McGill. At last, in the season 4 finale, Jimmy delivers a moving speech at a hearing to have his law license reinstated.
I mean, look at me. I'll never be as moral as him. I'll never be as smart. I'll never be as respected. I'll never be as good as Chuck.
He extols his late brother Chuck's virtues and claims he hopes to live up to the name McGill. However, after they reinstate him, Jimmy reveals to Kim that he didn't mean a word of it and that he's going to be practicing under a new name. He's finally Saul Goodman, and he's worse for it.
I'm going to need one more form, DBA, because I'm not going to be practicing under the name McGill, so.
Shouldn't be a problem. Just down the hall, we have all the forms.
Great.
Wait, Jimmy, what?
It's all good, man.
Number 29. Luke and Laureli kiss. Gilmore Girls. These two have been dancing around each other and their mutual feelings from essentially the very beginning of this show, but something always seems to get in the way to stop them getting together. But in the season 4 finale, Luke has had enough.
I'm not a mysterious man, am I?
Well, the wardrobe's a bit of a head scratcher.
I think I've been very, very clear with my intentions.
Clear.
You know, the wedding, the movie invite, the flowers.
Luke,
You knew what I was doing.
After a misunderstanding involving Lorelai's ex, the two engage in a heated confrontation at the inn. Luke makes his intentions clear and finally makes his move.
what are you doing?
Will you just stand still?
Both of them ask the other to stand still, and this romantic moment made our hearts stand still, or at least skip a few beats. Number 28. The elevator working. The Big Bang Theory. The characters in this nerdy sitcom may not be athletes, but they certainly get a lot of exercise. The elevator in their apartment building is forever broken, by them as it happens, forcing them to take the stairs throughout the show's 12-season run.
Okay, so basically you're the reason I have to walk up and down 3 flights of stairs every day?
So I did something stupid. I'm sure you did stupid things when you were younger. What were you doing 7 years ago?
While it certainly makes for a bit more dynamic conversations, it's not exactly convenient. Finally, in the series' penultimate episode, Penny surprises Sheldon and Leonard by interrupting their discussion by appearing out of the now functional elevator.
No, it's the last straw. I can't take any more.
Can you believe it? They finally fixed the elevator.
Sheldon may be change averse, but for many fans, this repair was a welcome sight. Number 27. Coming Home. Star Trek Voyager. The entire premise of this Star Trek spin-off is that the titular ship is stranded in the Delta Quadrant, which is decades from Earth and the Federation. And while the show never really leaned into its own premise, how is the ship always in such good repair, the crew does attempt to find shortcuts to get home sooner.
23 years together made you a family. One I'm proud to have been adopted by. So let us raise our glasses to the journey.
The finale sees one version of events play out in the future, only to be undone by time travel shenanigans. Basically, though, the crew hijacks an ultra-fast Borg corridor to arrive home early, blowing up their cybernetic foes on the way out. Voyager also receives an honor guard of Federation ships, who finally escort them back to Earth, their odyssey over.
Set a course. For home.
Number 26. Finding out River Song's identity. Doctor Who. One of the coolest things about Doctor Who is that the Doctor can meet people in the wrong order while traveling through time and space.
Thanks.
For what?
The usual for coming when I call.
Oh, that was you.
You're doing a very good job acting like you don't know me. I'm assuming there's reason.
Oh, fairly good one, actually.
One example is River's song, a mysterious woman who knows the Doctor when he first meets her, but whom he doesn't know yet. There are a few hints dropped about who she is, but it isn't until several years after she's introduced that River's identity is revealed. A rescue attempt on the 11th Doctor's current companion, Amy, and her newborn daughter Melody goes awry, and Melody is kidnapped again. River only arrives after everything. She didn't help. She couldn't. After showing the Doctor who she is, she explains to Amy and Rory that she is Melody. Quite the timey-wimey reunion.
It's me. I'm Melody. I'm your daughter.
Number 25. Rescued. Rescue from Gilligan's Island. The 1960s sitcom Gilligan's Island ran for 3 seasons without the castaways of the SS Minnow being rescued from their island. And indeed, fans would have to wait over 10 years after the show's conclusion for Gilligan, Skipper, and the gang to finally depart their island in this TV movie.
Hey everybody, I got some good news.
You spotted a rescue boat.
No, that'd be great news. All I got is good news. Hey, we're having broiled snapper for dinner.
Broiled?
Uh-huh.
How are you cooking it?
With a fire.
With a storm on its way, the group lash their huts together to make a raft, which is swept away. While aboard, Gilligan starts a fire, which leads to the US Coast Guard spotting them and all of them finally going home. Of course, the film ends with them inadvertently ending up stranded on the exact same island, but it's still nice to see them in the real world while it lasts.
Telegrams and calls have been pouring in. I'd like to present you with the most important one first. This telegram is from Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy who?
Number 24. Booth and Brennan kiss. Bones. Dr. Temperance Bones Brennan and Agent Seeley Booth are one of many will they won't they couples, and it naturally takes years for us to see them kiss for the first time. However, which kiss is their first depends on your definition. Chronologically, their first kiss happens in a flashback in the show's 100th episode, which flashes back to their first case together.
I just feel like, this is going somewhere.
Why did you feel like this is going somewhere?
I feel like I'm gonna kiss you.
But if we're going by air date, the duo first kisses under a mistletoe set up by the enterprising Caroline in the season 3 Christmas episode. Regardless of which one you count, we all had the same reaction. Finally!
Is that enough steamboats?
Plenty. A whole flotilla.
I don't know what that means, but, Merry Christmas.
Number 23. Galactica makes it to Earth. Battlestar Galactica. Ever since the humans of the Battlestar Galactica and its fleet of ships fled the destruction of their homeworlds by the Cylons, they've been in search of the near-mythical lost colony of Earth. It takes until the 4th and final season, but they do eventually get there, even if they have to work with some of the Cylons to do it.
Like it or not, Lee, something's orchestrating this for a purpose.
Higher power.
Call it whatever you want. But it seems to want us to find Earth with the Cylons.
However, despite their joyous arrival, they're horrified to discover that Earth is a dead wasteland. Despite the inhabitants being artificial, Cylon-like beings themselves, they were destroyed by their own creations just as the humans were.
Centurions.
Similar, but they're not one of ours. We've never seen this design.
So the 13th tribe settled here and created their own Cylons.
And then the machines rose up and killed their masters.
Thankfully, things are a bit more optimistic in the series finale, when Galactica and company make it to our Earth. Number 22. The Red John reveal. The Mentalist. For most of the first 6 seasons of this crime series, serial killer Red John proves a constant thorn in the side of ex-psychic turned law enforcement consultant Patrick Jane, and that's after killing his wife and daughter.
For no reason at all, you're rude and contemptuous. That's why your wife and kid are dead. Who are you to butt in here and make obnoxious judgments about me?
Jane at last is invited to a church by one of the Red John suspects, who is promptly killed. Cue the arrival of the presumed dead Sheriff Thomas McAllister, the real Red John. His confrontation with Jane has been a long time coming, and McAllister makes the mistake of gloating and accepting breadcrumbs. Jane manages to surprise and shoot him before eventually strangling his hated foe. McAllister may have seemed an improbable suspect at first, but evil sometimes lurks amid the ordinary.
Husband, it's over. It's done. Just want you to know I'm okay. I'm gonna miss you.
Number 21. Selena becomes president. Veep. American Vice President Selena Meyer spends most of the first 3 seasons utterly marginalized by President Stuart Hughes, who forever remains unseen. However, when his wife has a crisis in season 3, the mysterious president decides to step away, making Selena the new commander-in-chief.
Ma'am, you're about to become the 45th president of the United States. It's not a dress rehearsal, not a drill. You are going to be the president.
Now? Selena's barely restrained joy leads to an utterly iconic scene of her gushing to her aide Gary in the bathroom. Between Gary's resulting nosebleed and the many mishaps that follow, it's quite the momentous and hilarious beginning to her presidency. It was certainly worth the wait.
Oh, I got it. Here, I got it. I got it. Here, shove these in. Shove these in. We got it. Uh-oh.
Everything all right?
Number 20. Clark Kent becomes Superman. Smallville. Smallville set a new ratings record for the WB network when it premiered in 2001. Even so, few could have anticipated that this Superman origin story would last 10 seasons.
When you believe in someone, it's not for a minute. Or just for now. It's forever.
Throughout that decade, the series covered many classic Superman story arcs, albeit without Superman. While it's repeatedly foreshadowed that Clark Kent will become the Man of Steel, he doesn't receive his iconic red and blue suit until the series finale.
Always hold on to Smallville.
Even then, CGI is primarily used to portray Superman in the climax. In the final shot, Tom Welling unbuttons his shirt to reveal the House of L symbol, but we never actually see the actor in the full Superman outfit. While this disappointed some, at least Lois and Clark are living happily ever after.
Do you have them?
You mean these?
Yes. Are you ready?
I've been ready for 7 years.
Number 19. Mary learns that Dick's an alien. Third rock from the sun. Being a professor of human behavior and societies, you'd think that Mary Albright would have been able to piece together that the eccentric Solomons are from another planet. Nevertheless, the Solomons go almost 6 seasons without blowing their cover to Mary. In the penultimate episode, Mary sees Dick turn Dr. Liam Neeson into a chimpanzee, compelling the alien to tell her the truth.
Mary, Dick Solomon, am an alien. From outer space.
It would have been interesting to see Dick and Mary's relationship grow from this point, but the Solomons are unfortunately called back home. Choosing not to go with them at the last second, Mary lets Dick wipe her memories before the Solomons are beamed up.
I don't want to forget you.
But Mary, it will protect you from hurt. What we had together will remain deep inside you, and you'll know it's there. It'll be a feeling.
In an alternate ending, however, Dick comes back for Mary, even though he already erased her memories of him.
I couldn't leave without you, Mary.
Who the hell are you?
Alien abduction! Alien abduction!
Number 18. Trudys' Unsolved Case. Monk. Across this show's 8-season run, there wasn't a case that Adrian Monk couldn't crack, except the one that mattered most. Who was responsible for the car bombing that killed his wife Trudy? New pieces of the puzzle are discovered over time, but it appears Monk may go to his grave without knowing.
No, this was different. She wanted me to start sleeping in the middle of the bed, and she said it won't be much longer.
It's not really she said that. That's big. That's an omen. I had a premonition you were going to have an omen.
Having been poisoned, Monk decides to finally open the Christmas present that Trudy left him. To his surprise, Monk and his assistant Natalie discover a videotape. On the recording, Trudy reveals that before meeting Monk, she had an affair with Ethan Rickover. Trudy became pregnant and years later, Rickover asked her to meet him at the parking garage where she ultimately died.
And I don't know, maybe I'm just being paranoid. But there was just something in his voice. It scared me, you know?
The smoking gun was in Monk's apartment the whole time.
I wanted you to know everything. Because you deserve to know everything. Adrian, you are more than the love of my life.
Number 17, Niles and Daphne get together. Frasier. From the moment they first meet, it's evident that Niles harbors feelings for Frasier's housekeeper, Daphne.
You're Daphne?
Why, yes, I am.
Well, when Frasier told me he'd hired an English woman, I pictured someone a little more, not quite so. You're Daphne?
Though this is clear to everyone else, Daphne remains clueless for years. The running gag is laid to rest after Daphne becomes engaged to Donnie, and Niles decides to move on. When Frasier accidentally lets the cat out of the bag in season 7, though, it slowly dawns on Daphne that she reciprocates his feelings.
After a while, I couldn't put it out of my mind anymore. I find myself thinking about him all the time.
It isn't until after Niles marries his girlfriend Mel, however, that he learns of Daphne's feelings for him. What started as a simple crush spirals into a complicated love square. Although she initially commits to not going through with her wedding, Daphne's love for Niles ultimately triumphs, just not at the most convenient time.
I was wondering if you might be free for a date.
Oh my God, yes.
There's plenty of time for that later. Let's get this bloody boat moving.
Number 16, Chandler and Monica's wedding. Friends. Although we considered including Ross and Rachel on this list, they got together almost halfway through season 2, eventually developing a revolving door relationship. As such, by the end of season 4, our interest began shifting towards Chandler and Monica.
Everybody falls in love somehow.
Throughout the next 3 seasons, their romance matured significantly. A year after they first hooked up in London, the couple almost got hitched in Vegas, only for a drunken Ross and Rachel to beat them to the altar. Chandler and Monica moved in together in season 6, which was capped off with a touching proposal.
You make me happier than I ever thought I could be. And if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life trying to make you feel the same way.
Their impending nuptials served as the main story arc throughout season 7. It was a long walk down the aisle for these two, but it was definitely worth the wait.
Any surprises that come our way, it's okay because I will always love you. You are the person I was meant to spend the rest of my life with. You want to know if I'm sure?
You may now kiss the bride.
Number 15, Sheldon and Amy have coitus, The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon Cooper and Amy Farrah Fowler immediately click when they meet at the conclusion of season 3, but their romance is a slow burn.
Now, before this goes any further, you should know that all forms of physical contact up to and including coitus are off the table.
May I buy you a beverage?
Tepid water, please.
Amy doesn't sign the girlfriend agreement until season 5, and the two don't share their first real kiss until season 7. By season 9, Sheldon is finally ready to go all the way with Amy, who has been eager to have coitus for several years now. The only downside is that Amy's birthday falls on the same night The Force Awakens hits theaters. The new Star Wars or losing one's virginity. It's honestly not an easy decision.
Sheldon, you can see this movie whenever you want, but you only have a limited number of days that you can be with this woman. Be with her.
You're right.
Regardless, Sheldon finds that Amy is more important to him than a film, showing how much he's grown since their first encounter.
I don't know what to expect.
Neither do I. But we can find out together.
Okay.
Number 14. Oliver gets off the island. Arrow. Granted, Oliver Queen technically got off the island of Leon Yu in the first episode.
I am returning. Not the boy who was shipwrecked, but the man who will bring justice to those who have poisoned my city.
For 5 seasons, though, what happened between Oliver's shipwreck and his rescue remained one of the show's greatest mysteries. Oliver's 5 years in hell are gradually revealed through flashbacks. These prove to be full of twists and turns, even taking Oliver off the island for a brief period, only for him to inevitably return. The 5th season finale takes us back to the beginning in more ways than one.
You and me, kid. Like old times.
It turns out that Anatoly Knyazov sent the ship that found Oliver, who took out Konstantin Kovar shortly before signaling the boatman. In the present, however, Oliver is forced to return to his personal purgatory to settle a few scores.
Even if you had a shot, you've already told me that you wouldn't kill me. But if circumstances finally change, if I die, everyone you care about dies.
Number 13. Don tells Betty about his past. Mad Men. In season 1, we learn that Don Draper died during the Korean War. The protagonist we've been following is really Dick Whitman, who adopted his lieutenant's name and identity.
Did you know him?
A little.
You got your whole life ahead of you. Forget that boy in the box.
A few characters learned Don's secret, but we were left wondering if Betty Draper would be one of them. After Betty finds a box of old photographs and emergency funds, Don is left with no choice but to tell his wife everything.
I can explain.
I know you can. You're a very, very gifted storyteller.
That's it.
While the revelation is one thing, it's Don's vulnerable reaction to the photographs that makes this scene so memorable.
I didn't even want help. He just wanted to be part of my life. And I couldn't risk all of this.
Don usually keeps his feelings guarded at all costs, especially around his family. We waited almost 3 seasons for him to break down like this, and it was more gut-wrenching than we could have imagined. Number 12. Mac comes out. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Mac's sexuality is one of this comedy's funniest running gags for much of its run. By season 12, it's clear to everyone that Mac is gay, although he refuses to admit this.
There's a history behind it. I've been gay forever. Everybody knows it.
It's a scratch-off lottery ticket of all things that finally encourages Mac to come out. Through a complicated argument, it's decided that Mac can claim sole ownership of the ticket if he says that he's gay, which he does.
$10,000.
Son of a... Gay Mac rules! Bullshit! Gay rich Mac!
Winning $10,000, Mac decides to be open about his sexuality going forward.
It doesn't matter. You can just go back in. You signed the paper.
Yeah, I mean, you got your money. No, I think I'm out now. Yeah, I'm gay. Actually feels pretty good. See you guys.
For a moment that had over a decade of build-up, Mac's breakthrough feels surprisingly casual. Of course, if you were hoping for something a bit more emotional, the season 13 finale delivered on that front. Number 11. Dexter's downfall. Dexter. Despite his best efforts, Dexter could only balance a normal life with the life of a serial killer for so long.
I destroy everyone I love. And I can't let that happen to Hannah, to Harrison. I have to protect them from me.
Dexter's downfall was inevitable, although it didn't exactly play out as we had envisioned. It would have been fitting if Dexter's journey ended with his own blood being spilled, but according to producer John Goldwyn, Showtime was reportedly against this idea.
Good morning, Miami. Hurricane Laura has passed and everything is going back to normal. There is no longer any threat.
Seeing Dexter serve time for his crimes also would have been a logical way to go out, but most of the Miami Metro Police Department never learned his secret.
There doesn't appear to be any survivors. We're heading back.
Batista. Dexter?
Instead, Dexter fakes his death and spends the rest of his days as a lumberjack. As great as Dexter was at its peak, after 8 seasons, this ending left many fans disappointed. Number 10. Stan confronts Elizabeth and Philip. The Americans. Now, this is how you end a series.
It's over. It's all over.
When you're a KGB officer posing as an American, an FBI agent is the last person you'd want as a neighbor. Yet Philip and Elizabeth managed to conceal their Soviet roots from Stan for years. When he finally learns the truth, Stan confronts Philip, Elizabeth, and their daughter Paige in a parking garage.
We had a job to do.
You were my best friend.
You were mine, too.
Though it was inevitable, it could have played out in several different ways. Would the Jennings be forced to take out Stan, or would he arrest the family? Following a tense standoff, Stan ultimately lets them go. Considering the relationship that Stan has developed with the Jennings over the past 6 seasons, it's a resolution that feels well earned.
You think we can trust him?
Yes.
Number 9. Mulder and Scully kiss. The X-Files. The X-Files frequently asked, are we alone in the universe? Viewers, however, often found themselves asking a different question. When are Mulder and Scully going to kiss already?
Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's debatable when exactly these two shared their first true kiss. Some would argue that it occurred in season 7 as Mulder and Scully romantically wished each other a happy new year. For other fans, it was the season 8 finale that delivered the passionate kiss that they'd been longing for. Either way, the wait to see these two lock lips had us on edge for years.
We just wanted to
see it with your own eyes.
After so many close encounters, confirmation of their mutual attraction couldn't have been more rewarding.
The world didn't end?
No, it didn't.
Number 8. Origins of the Smoke Monster. Lost. This ABC series kept audiences hooked for 6 seasons with its many ongoing mysteries.
You're not going to start talking about the magic box again, are you?
No, John. I'm going to show you what came out of it.
Some of these mysteries had satisfying payoffs, like how John Locke ended up in his wheelchair. Others still have us scratching our heads years later.
You don't have any idea what—
I have no idea, because you wouldn't tell me, Mother.
In the final season, an entire episode is dedicated to Jacob, the Man in Black, and their experiences growing up on the island. The episode also explores the origins of the Smoke Monster.
I want to find the light. You want to leave this place, brother? Then go.
It's revealed that Jacob pushed his brother into the tunnel of light, turning the Man in Black into a black cloud of smoke. This explanation, as well as the episode itself, proved polarizing among fans. After 6 seasons, though, we guess it was nice to get an answer for better or for worse. Number 7. Gossip Girl's identity. Gossip Girl. This mysterious blogger gave this show its name, but fans were left waiting for 6 years and until the very final episode to learn who they were. And surprise, they weren't in fact a girl. But perhaps the bigger shock was that it was Dan all along.
All I had to compare to this world was what I'd read in books, but that gave me the idea. If I wasn't born into this world, maybe I could write myself into it.
It was particularly unexpected because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Sure, a main cast member is better than somebody we've never met, but Dan spreading rumors and revealing secrets about his friends, his family, and himself doesn't paint him in the best light, and leads to a whole host of plot holes. Whether it was worth the wait or not, this reveal kept fans waiting until the very last minute.
So I guess that means it's all over now. That we can all grow up and move on?
Yeah. Gossip Girl's dead.
Number 6. Jon Snow's real parents. Game of Thrones. For the first 5 seasons of the show, those who had read George R.R. Martin's novels mostly knew what to expect.
A raven came from the Citadel. A white raven. Winter is here.
By season 6, however, the show had pretty much outpaced the novels, putting experts and newbies on a more equal footing. Even before the show started, one of the most popular fan theories revolved around Jon Snow's birth. It was widely believed that Jon wasn't Ned Stark's bastard, but rather the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, Ned's sister. In the season 6 finale, Game of Thrones officially made this theory canon.
His name is Aegon Targaryen. You have to protect him. Promise me, Ned.
So naturally, Jon's lineage means that he'll sit on the Iron Throne, right? Nope. Bran Stark becomes king. If the intent was to subvert expectations, the writers succeeded, and kind of failed.
That will improve.
I'm sure it will.
Number 5. Meeting Mr. Snuffleupagus. Sesame Street. Some of you might be too young to remember, but for much of the 1970s and 80s, most of the adults on Sesame Street were convinced that Mr. Snuffleupagus was Big Bird's imaginary friend. Apparently they could accept a giant talking bird, but a mammoth-like creature was outside the realm of probability.
Do you think we ought to believe you, huh?
Okay, all right. One more time, Big Bird.
He's right behind those doors, but if you don't hurry, I don't know how long little Elmo can hold him.
To be fair, Snuffy would always disappear whenever Big Bird tried to introduce him to grown-ups.
Go, Big Bird!
Oh, that means that Bird's friends are coming to meet me now.
Yes, now.
Oh, well, I better go home and brush my fur then. No. I want to look good for him.
In 1985, the producers felt it was time to address the elephant in the room. The season 17 premiere kicked off with Snuffy meeting Elmo and several shocked adults. The grown-ups apologized to Big Bird for doubting him in the past, and from that day forward, he was no longer the bird who cried Snuffleupagus.
From now on, we'll believe you whenever you tell us something.
Yes. Promise?
Yes. Promise. Absolutely.
Maybe we should get that in writing.
Number 4. Richard Kimball clears his name, The Fugitive. While largely episodic, this classic crime drama series was driven by several overarching questions. Will Richard Kimball exonerate himself after being falsely convicted of his wife's murder? Will Kimball catch the mysterious one-armed man he saw fleeing from the crime scene? Or will the relentless Lieutenant Gerard catch Kimball first? All of these lingering plot threads are tied up in the thrilling series finale. Atop a tower, Kimball confronts the one-armed man, also known as Fred Johnson.
All right, we're going back. You won't shoot me. You need me alive.
Although Johnson confesses to Kimball, he's shot and falls to his doom before he can have his day in court. Gerard, of all people, vouches for Kimball, which convinces Lloyd Chandler to testify on the wrongfully accused man's behalf.
Lieutenant, I saw that man, Johnson, murder Helen Kimball.
After 120 episodes, The Fugitive is a free man.
Tuesday, September 5th. The day the running stopped.
Number 3. Hank realizes Walt is Heisenberg, Breaking Bad. Halfway through Breaking Bad's 5th season, Walt seems ready to retire from the meth business. He's beyond rich, his family's back together, and the authorities have no clue that he's Heisenberg.
I want my kids back. I want my life back. Please tell me. How much is enough? How big does this pile have to be?
Walt just might have gotten away with it if Hank didn't like to read on the toilet. A DEA agent, Hank stumbles upon a book from GB to WW in Walt's bathroom. Thinking back, Hank recalls that Gail Bedeker's notebook mentioned a WW.
I mean, who you figure that is, huh? Woodrow Wilson? Willy Wonka? Walter White?
You got me.
Although he was joking before, Hank pieces together that WW really is Walter White. The meth kingpin he's been hunting this whole time was his sickly brother-in-law. Thankfully, we only had to wait one more episode to see Hank confront Walt with this revelation.
Because you. All along it was you!
Number 2. Going Home, MASH. Although the Korean War persisted for just over 3 years, it lasted 11 seasons for Hawkeye and Company.
Tomorrow, the tents of the 4077 will be coming down. For good. For an awful long time, we've been living together, eating together.
The long-awaited farewell accumulated so much buzz back in 1983 that the initial broadcast brought in a record-breaking 105.97 million viewers. To this date, it remains the most-watched series finale in television history, which goes to show just how many people wanted to see these characters receive a proper send-off. Goodbye, farewell, and amen delivered with a final scene that's forever embedded in pop culture. Following a bittersweet hug, Hawkeye lifts off in a helicopter to find that Honeycutt has left him one last message.
I'll see you back in the States. I promise. Just in case, I left you a note. What?
After 256 episodes, it was the perfect way to say goodbye. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Who's the Mother? How I Met Your Mother. You wouldn't expect the story about how a father met the mother of his children to take 9 seasons to tell.
I can't believe this. I kept this story short and to the point, and you guys still missed it.
Ted Mosby insists on telling his kids everything, however. This includes his relationships with various other women and the wacky shenanigans that he got into with his friends. Every now and then, we're given another clue pertaining to the mother's identity. It's not until the season 8 finale, though, that we finally get to see the woman behind the yellow umbrella. Then we had to wait another season for Ted to meet the future Mrs. Mosby.
Those are my initials. TM. Tracy McConnell.
No, Tracy McConnell. It's TM, totally my umbrella.
You're TM, terribly mistaken. Because this umbrella has always belonged, TM, to me.
The fate of the mother proved divisive to say the least, but her actual introduction to Ted was every bit as heartfelt as we'd hoped.
Funny how sometimes you just find things. Hi.
Is there an anticipated TV moment you hoped to see on our list? We're looking forward to you celebrating your picks in the comments.
I questioned whether this day would ever come, but today, our journey is at an end.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.